Hi guys, welcome back to Minimalism with Michelle. Today, since lockdown has been lifted, I decided to make my very first outdoor video to enjoy the nature. I'm going to touch upon a topic today about office etiquette, the top 5 do's and don'ts. I've been working for 15 years both in Vietnam as well as Singapore, both in family business and multinational companies. And I do have quite a wide spread of experience in terms of work culture, and I hope my sharing will help you to progress further in your career. So number 1, complete your assigned tasks on time. To me, this is the list all employees should do in order to draw your monthly paycheck, because isn't it true that you are paid for what you're supposed to do, and it has to be on time? As a person who forgets things easily, I would take a note of everything I am supposed to do. In my laptop, I would download the sticky notes apps and make it visible at all times. So at any point in time, I would know exactly whether I am behind or I am ahead of certain projects, so I would know what to prioritize at that moment. Also, following up through different phases of a project is very critical, because no line manager would want to see their staff missing in terms of actions to keep the projects going. That also shows a lot about your credibility. And to be honest, this is nothing related to how to get a promotions yet, because in order to get a promotions is a whole different discussions, and it takes much more effort than just complete your task on time. Number 2, be respectful to everyone you know in the office, and of course outside the office. To me, this can only do you good. It can't do you any harm, including the tea lady to the cleaners. You should be respectful to everyone. You never know, your peer colleagues someday will become your boss, right? And what goes around comes around. It's karma. For me, it's pretty natural to be respectful to people around me, because that was how my parents taught us when we were younger. But I had encountered incidents in the past where individuals who barely know me give me disrespectful judgment or remarks, and to be honest, that feeling suck. And from that moment on, I decided I will never spread that kind of feelings to anyone that I have a chance to encounter. And being respectful to peoples are actually giving you very good feelings, because you feel being appreciated by them as well. So let's try to do so. Number 3, do not gossip. So trust me, I'm just a social animal like any one of us here, right? But over time, I learned that there's no good in gossiping. And by gossiping, I mean we are talking about another person's personal matters, or matters that we're not supposed to talk about. So it's something private, right? And something that we don't really know first-hand information, and rather, the news kept being exchanged from person to person, and you may not have the authentic information from the first place to talk about. So it's very tempted, to be honest, for example, to talk about someone else, salary or their personal relationship with their spouse, what's going on in their personal life. But you have to be very mindful, right, in what you are entering into, because still I believe in karma. What goes around comes around. Eventually that conversation may end up in the ears of the person who is being talked about, and it may escalate to very ugly situation. And if it's not helping you in your career, my advice is not to even do it. For example, some people, right, come to me, we have a very good conversations at the beginning, and towards the end that person tends to divert to a topic which I think is starting to be inappropriate. So what I often do is, one, I will divert the subject, talks about something else, and if that person is sensitive enough, they will sense my hint, and then we from subsequent conversations, we never talk about personal matters of someone else. Or if they're not sensitive enough, I would just tell them up front, hey, why don't we talk about something else? This is about someone we don't even know well enough to talk with. So that's my advice. Let's not gossip. Focus on your work. Get it done, rather than spending time spreading the negative things around. So number 4 is to be mindful in the personal brand that you are building. Some of you may be thinking that, I'm just an employee, I'm not in marketing business. So what do you mean by a personal brand I'm building? To be honest, unconsciously, people are forming, a personal brand around you based on the things that you do. So if you don't pay attention and be mindful in building this personal brand for you, people will do so on your behalf. And so after understanding this, I am very actively in curating a personal image for myself. And building a personal brand doesn't mean that you have to be someone else, right? Because you just can't. The truth will speak by itself, right? After a short while. So you can't pretend to be someone else. Instead, focus your positive energy in being consistent in highlighting the values you want to represent. As for me, the 3 things I want to build for my personal brand at work is having high integrity at work. Number 2, always eager to learn new things. And number 3, trying to help people around me as much as I can. So with this, every of my day-to-day behaviors or the things I do at work, I will try, right, to focus on these 3 values, and I want to make it as visible as possible. And of course, it helps you to being recognized. Number 5, learn both the goods and the bad sides of a boss. So if I make a question here for you all, whether in your working experience, if you work long enough, whether you have known a boss who you think is a bad boss, I believe many of us will raise our hand, right? And it's not an exception for me. To me, the very first job that I did is a family business. At that time, I regarded it, the boss as a very bad boss, because he was pretty moody. Every day when he came to office, we have to gauge his mood and then behave accordingly. So I was always nervous coming to work, and we have to be very careful around him, and we don't have the freedom, right, to develop ourselves. But now, over time, when I already grow up, thinking back, I think I didn't really remember much about those bad experiences I had. But more, I know what he has taught me. For example, I learned how to declutter the things around me. I learned that he was a very good human being when he's not moody. And he did throw challenges at his staff, right? And to be honest, being given challenges is an opportunity for you to grow. So my advice is for all of us to look at the good sides of our boss, because genuinely I believe everyone is being promoted for a good reason, right? Maybe we don't see that good reasons up front, so be patient, look for those good points. And when you think you have exhausted learning all the good points from your boss, then you can consider how would you develop your career next. Either you change team or you change company, or you can just challenge him by asking him to give you more opportunities. So be patient, try to learn, because nobody guarantee when you move on to the next job you will have a perfect boss. So that's my advice. So that's the top 5 do's and don'ts as office etiquettes that I just shared with you. I know it sounds pretty basic, but to be honest, I think if you practice it pretty diligently, it will really help you in your career and also to grow as a person. So I hope you'll enjoy the video today. I hope there's not much noise distractions around, and see you again next time.